Right now, the internet is absolutely buzzing with talk about the newest installment of WandaVision and how great it was. I, on the other hand, was left feeling like Vision without his Mind Stone. We're gonna talk about the episode and why, to me, it fell so flat. Let's do it. Episode 4 switched over to the perspective of Monica Rambeau and the rest of the world outside of Westview. We find out that Monica was one of the people who was lost in the infamous Thanos snap, as we see her coming back to life with everyone else who disappeared. She returns to find the world in chaos and begins to realize that 5 years have passed. This opening was really great, and I thought that Teyonah Parris, the actress who played Monica, did a fantastic job here, and I really loved seeing this connection to the films. We'd never seen exactly how people came back from the snap, and it was cool to see it happen in reverse. The visuals here were phenomenal. Monica returns to her former place of employment, which is revealed to be none other than S.w.o.r.d. She meets her new boss, Tyler Hayward, and this is where it starts to get bad for me. His acting felt pretty stiff, but I think it was really just the writing. It felt pretty clunky and made it feel like his character was just there to give exposition dumps. The cinematography here also felt very made for TV, consisting of static over-the-shoulder shots of characters having conversations in front of boring white walls. It really began to feel like a show you might see on the CW, and if you like those, that's fine, but in my opinion, they harken back to TV series of the early 2000s, like Smallville, where now we're in an age where TV shows are shot like movies, such as Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, or The Mandalorian. So we know that Disney can knock it out of the park when it comes to TV series. We just got this from them a month ago. I guess The Mandalorian may have set the bar so high that it's hard for WandaVision to reach. Monica is sent out on a mission to Westview where she meets up with Jimmy Woo, who is played by Randall Park. He's the FBI agent we met in Ant-Man and the Wasp who was trying to track down Scott Lang. Jimmy and Monica come to discover the force field / wall thing that's surrounding the town, and they fly a drone into it. When they do, it disappears and they lose it. We begin to put the pieces together that this was the helicopter that Wanda found in a previous episode. Monica goes and touches the wall, and when she does, she ends up getting sucked in. We cut to the S.w.o.r.d. base camp that is now set up around the outskirts of Westview, and Darcy, played by Kat Dennings, is called in to help solve the mystery of the force field. I'm sure everybody remembers that Darcy was everyone's favorite character from Thor and Thor: The Dark World. Everyone loved the character so much that they even brought her back for Thor Ragnarok and all of the Marvel movies. Oh wait, actually they didn't because her character sucked. They find out that there's a strange frequency coming from Westview, and when they tap into it, they're able to watch the WandaVision TV show that we've been watching for the last 3 episodes. They discover that all of the actors and characters are just townspeople that are stuck inside the force field. The rest of the episode consists of Jimmy and Darcy teaming up to try and send a message into Westview. They send a guy in a hazmat suit, and we find out that he was actually the guy in the beekeeper suit from a previous episode. When you send things in, they change. They send radio signals in, and we realize that the voice Wanda heard on the radio in episode 2 was this message from Jimmy.
Wanda, can you read me? Over.
Okay, so the majority of the episode follows characters that we don't care about, like, at all. There's a reason nobody's been clamoring for a Jimmy Woo and Darcy buddy cop movie. Darcy is a super smart character, but she's constantly mean to everyone, and frankly, Kat Dennings isn't that great in this role. And Jimmy Woo, did you guys even remember he was in Ant-Man and the Wasp before I brought that up? I'd bet a whole bunch of Dogecoin that you didn't. And I even like Randall Park as a comedian, but when he's given a more serious role, he just doesn't pull it off. We didn't care about them the first time they were in the MCU, so why are we trying to bring them back and force them into lead roles? Here's why. Because it's all connected. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a huge Marvel fan, and one of the things that I admire most about the MCU is how they've managed to connect each story. But in the past, those connections have felt incredibly meaningful, and they've always served to push the story forward. This just feels like they said, hey, we need a cop guy and a smart person. Do we have any of those? Yeah, we've actually got a ton of them. We've got one in like every single Marvel movie. Who do you want? I don't know, just get me someone. To be honest, it just doesn't feel like there was a lot of thought that went into bringing either of those characters back. And if you did decide to bring them back, improve them. Find out what people didn't like about those characters and improve them through the writing. Again, there's a reason that Darcy didn't come back for Thor 3 or any other MCU movie. There's a reason you didn't remember Jimmy Woo. Good writing makes us care about the characters that we're frankly forced to follow in a story. And this, well, this just didn't work. I'm honestly pretty worried and frankly bummed that we're gonna have to continue to follow these characters in lead positions throughout the rest of the series. We see a conversation between Wanda and Vision, and the acting is a stark contrast to what we just saw from the rest of the ensemble. Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen kill it as always. They are A-listers in a show surrounded by C-listers, and it hurts. Wanda briefly sees Vision dead and gray, but then she snaps back to her reality. Vision tells her that they can leave, but Wanda says,
"No, we can't. This is our home."
Which leads more credibility to the theory that we had earlier that Vision is actually dead and inside this world that Wanda's created, where she's just kind of keeping him alive and it's the only place that she can be with him. See, this is the stuff we love from this show. Anyway, we finish up the episode by seeing Monica's side of the story within the confrontation between her and Wanda from the last episode. Wanda ends up throwing her out of the town, and she ends up on the ground where we last saw her under the spotlight. Shout out to Helicopter Spotlight guy. And Monica leaves us with this revelation, but it's delivered in the cheesiest of lines. This is what we get.
It's Wanda. It's all Wanda.
Oh. Anyway, guys, I know I'm in the minority here. I really hope that you liked the episode more than I did, and hey, I hope it gets better as it goes, but I don't want to be negative. There are plenty of other places where you can go get negative content here on YouTube, and I only want to create content that I'm passionate about. Any of you Star Wars fans out there will remember how much negativity was going around when The Last Jedi released, and I definitely got burnt out on listening to all those haters. And I didn't even like the movie. I agreed with some of their comments, but that's how bad it was. It was just everywhere. MythMachine is going to be a channel where we focus on the positive storytelling elements that come together to create what we love about modern myths. So on that note, I'll probably start covering something else next week. Who knows? I may come back to WandaVision if it steps up its game, but for now, there's just so much great storytelling out there. So next week's video is gonna be something that I am super positive and passionate about. If you have something you'd like to see me cover, please leave it in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it, and I'll see you around, kid.